we're recording, so, just talk a bit while I get the link out there. Quinn?
What? Sorry.
While I get the link out there, probably just introduce yourself.
Okay.
Be like, I'm Quinn, or whatever the hell.
Something like that.
Yeah.
There is the link. Hello, everybody. See, we got 2 + 4 × 5 in Vale already.
Hello. Oh, 2 + 4 × 5 doesn't have to work. Perfect. Cool. So, it's write once, read many. This time for chapters 8.7 and 8.8.
Woohoo!
Yeah. And as a reminder of the audience participation question, it is, what do you think of the Endbringer Memorial? Yeah, so we'll talk about that later.
That's nice.
I didn't have any themes written down, as often. Do you have any that you can come up with off the dome?
Shit, I didn't really think about that.
The feeling of betrayal.
Yeah, I guess, yeah, that'd be one, but betrayal and, like, I don't know what a good word would be, like, going forward or, like, changes, maybe?
Changing status quo. Revelation. I was thinking revelation earlier, when I was thinking about the way that, so much comes to light, and then Tattletale reveals even more in 8.8. But, I just wasn't sure. But, yeah, I guess that works.
Yeah.
Coping. Yeah, I guess there's a lot. So, yeah, we got betrayal and revelation from Vale, and then 2 + 4 × 5 said moving on, coping, and bullying. And, Vale then says, Arms Master is a dick, the theme.
That's my favorite theme.
And, so, I guess I do want them capitalized. So yeah, I guess we'll mention these a little bit as we go. And Greg's here. Hello. I forgot to start the speed draw of the art. I just had the actual art up. So we'll get that speed draw going. You can see it's the hallway scene.
I think I actually saw Victoria drawing this the other day.
Yeah. I saw her drawing not this one, but the 8.8. But
That's cool.
yes. Yeah, we'll talk about this a little more as it resolves. It's a pretty long speed draw. So, yeah, if you want to start us off, we've got, we're gonna kind of try dividing the, reading a little more like we did before, where we're going by larger sections. Seeing how that goes.
Yeah. And these are Victoria's words that I'm reading, because,
in case anything really heinous gets said.
Yeah, because, she says some weird things sometimes.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Okay. So, Sophia Hess, one of Taylor's most brutal bullies, was Shadowstalker. Taylor's thoughts began to run, wondering if Emma was a cape, but quickly scratching that out. She remembers Emma had been at the fundraiser with her dad. Maybe Shadowstalker's invite? Taylor's gut feeling is that Emma knew about Sophia being a cape. Taylor imagines that Emma found out while Taylor was at nature camp the summer before high school, hence Emma turning her back on Taylor. Taylor admits that she could be wrong on some aspects, but she now feels like she finally has an answer to Emma's betrayal.
Yeah. Damn.
Yeah. Pretty fucked up, man.
And it's like Greg says, just blame Victoria.
Got it. Yep.
Yeah.
Greg gets it. Taylor's thoughts are disrupted as someone grabs her by the collar and hauls her up. She shakily turns around and sees Armmaster, who is clearly pissed off. He yells at Taylor as to what she's doing here and marches out of Shadowstalker's curtained room and to where Miss Militia and Legend are. Taylor only briefly thinks about her getting arrested. Her thoughts instead turn to the bully trio. Had the reason they had gotten out of trouble so easily because of Sophia's superhero status? Had her teachers been thinking of ways to make things easier on that hero? Armsmaster slams Taylor against the nurse's counter. Legend and Miss Militia are armed, and Armsmaster says she was peeping on one of the blue tags. Damn it. Here's a quote that was pulled. It's damn it, Legend muttered. Who? Miss Militia asked, and how bad? Shadowstalker. Saw her tit out.
Yeah. Vic edited this clip from the book. That is not the real line.
I didn't even realize that she put that there. That's funny. Legend asks who this awkward teenage girl must be, and Miss Militia gives him the TLDR. Teenage villain, Master 5. Legend gestures for Armsmaster to let up on Taylor a bit, which he does, but Taylor, again, gets lost in her train of thought. Concussed much. She's like, shit, one of the trio can recognize me by voice. Could it have been Sophia? Does she know that I'm Skitter? Taylor pulls herself out of it, explaining that no one was talking to her, so she decided to leave. Miss Militia reminds Taylor there's a no-talking procedures. Taylor starts to mention that, is it Panacea?
Panacea?
Panacea spoke to her, but Armsmaster interrupts and says she's not official. Legend asks Taylor to keep her voice down as she begins to loudly protest. He semi-threatens her, saying certain shouting could end up cutting down their options for this situation. He said that if the situation was reversed, Taylor would want the same respect.
Yeah. 2 + 4 × 5 says Legend and Miss Militia are armed. Yeah, they are more so than Armsmaster. Armmaster. Yeah, I will point out like more than half of all of the times that Armsmaster is referenced, I feel like she just puts Armmaster.
It's funny because like back when you guys would talk about this before I'd like read any of it, you would always like be like, yeah, there's this guy Armsmaster, but like as a joke you would always call him like Armmaster, and I was like, huh, why do they call him Armmaster? I thought it was just like you were just being cute, but
yeah, well,
now I know.
Not only that, but there's a later line, not to spoil a punchline too early, but character goes, "You're that arms man, right?"
Oh yeah, you told me about that.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite lines.
Is it just like a nameless character who says it, or is it someone important?
It's someone important. She's just sort of like, it's hard to explain, but in context, it makes perfect sense that she's just not too chuffed about who he is.
Arms, man. Okay, and here's another quote that Miss Victoria pulled. From Taylor's perspective, yeah. I couldn't help but chuckle silently for a second there. The armor of my mask clacked against the countertop as I let my head rest there. Respect for Sophia? Taylor then asks what these alleged options are. Option number 1. If Taylor uses the Endbringer situation to her advantage, that's punishable by birdcage. Taylor kind of reiterates that it was an accident, and Arm Man butts in to say that she's such a good liar that she can fool his lie detector.
Damn. Pretty good liar, right? Maybe that's like a minor power of hers, so that she can just lie so well, usually to herself.
I love that. Like, that's just such a funny thing for Armsmaster to say. It's like, you're so good at lying that even my lie detector doesn't work. I'm like, I don't know, Armsmaster. Maybe you just don't have a very good lie detector. And then option 2 is Taylor joins the wards. And before he can even finish explaining this obviously better option, Taylor just flat out says no. She tells Legend that she would rather go to the birdcage and asks for a third option.
You do not get to negotiate, Armsmaster roared, heads turned. Feeling a flare of anger, I retorted, so he gets to yell, but I don't? We have the authority here, Armsmaster shouted. The only authority you have is the authority people give you. It wasn't me who responded. The voice was male, familiar. Gru, I called out. You're alive, Gru responded.
That's my man. What a romantic scene. Tattletale's voice pipes in as well to let Taylor know she gave them a scare. Miss Militia tries to prompt the game to leave so they don't face the same restrictions as Skitter, but Gru argues that he won't leave his teammates in their custody. Taylor goes all hard eyes at him, calling her teammate.
Ooh.
Ooh. Sorry, my cat was doing something weird. um, Armsmaster lets Taylor stand while keeping a tight grip on her. The whole gang is here, and she surveys them for damage, mostly intact. She worries about Rachel and her mental state with what happened to a huge number of her dogs. Tattletale is on crutches, barely less physically capable than usual. Miss Militia explains the situation to the crew without Shadowstalker being well enough to give her input. They're left with 3 options: jail time, joining the wards, or some sort of collateral. Armsmaster pipes in that the option is for capes they can trust.
Yeah.
Excuse me. And then option number 3, collateral. Skitter can reveal her secret identity to Shadowstalker. And obviously, this does not work for Taylor, which she voices. Legend tells Taylor that she's being difficult, but Gru argues that he's sure she has her reasons. Armsmaster replies, she always does, which elicits a reaction from Gru. Legend then asks Armsmaster for some more details on the group, which only takes providing Tattletale's deets for him to ask for the rest of the Undersiders to leave.
So, Greg had said, I think Taylor should change her name to Swarms Master.
Swarmsmaster.
And then 2 plus 4 times 5 said, she's really good at lying by omission. So she can get around the lie detector. But and also the other thing is, like, if she believes a thing one day and then, like, changes her mind and does another thing, then she still wasn't lying in that scenario. So the, like, lie detector can be right.
Okay.
I see.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
But I'll read this next part. A master manipulator, penchant for head games, likes to pretend she's psychic, but she isn't. We don't know her power, possibly clairvoyance, psychometry, or some combination thereof, but we've got her pegged as a thinker 7. 7? I'm flattered, Tattletale replied, grinning. I didn't switch voices fast enough, but,
Yeah.
So it goes.
So it goes. And then...
Oh, Phil said, how did you get Armsmaster on the podcast?
Dude, we got Arms Man. He's just kind of chills with us.
Yeah.
When Miss Militia forms her gun to escort them away, Gru reminds her that there's others watching. Taylor looks to see Capes watching from the far end of the hallway, including Trickster recording with his phone. You dropped your crown, King. Legend and Miss Militia aren't concerned and go directing the team away. I don't know why it's so funny to just imagine like this going on and fucking Trickster's just over there like recording on his phone like, oh damn.
Yeah. Well, I think it's funny. Like, this is why I have to preface sometimes when Vic writes stuff, because it's just like, I usually say that if she starts, like, saying really weird things about, I don't know, say Amy and Kraus.
Yeah.
So, yeah. 2 plus 4 times 5. Trickster's great. Yeah, I love the way he just, like, casually, getting this all on tape. Might be important later, might be valuable.
Yeah, he's kind of just like, yeah, let me go ahead and record this.
And I mean, like, there's the obvious thing that we know from all the meetups that he is working for the same organization as the Undersiders. But,
yeah.
Yeah. And then Vale says, my headcanon is Tattletale asks Trickster to record. He doesn't seem that aware to me. I don't know. I think he'd just do it anyway. He's no Mars in terms of like unawareness. Um. Anyway, so then were we here?
Yeah, I just read that.
Oh,
So
okay.
the quote, yeah.
Um. Then yeah. Tattletale raised one hand. If I could just say my piece, I quiet. Armsmaster interrupted her. Nobody ever lets me talk. She spoke, turning on her heel to walk away, flouncing almost. It was a bit theatrical, overreacting. I wondered if someone that didn't know her would catch it. Whatever. Gru, let's go. Gru looked at her. It's cool. She gave him a little smile, then she offered me one. Hey, Skitter, don't sweat it. We'll handle this. Okay? Okay, I muttered.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then yeah, so the crew leaves with Miss Militia, and Legend lands in close to Taylor, reminding her to pick her poison. Taylor opens and closes her mouth a bit, like a fish, not able to form the right words, when a tiny voice rings out from the surrounding armbanded heroes. Across the room, Tattletale is speaking into her armband, projecting to all of the rest. She lets the audience know that if this broadcast ends prematurely, that means she's been killed by Miss Militia, in order to keep the Protectorate's secrets. She pauses the announcement and asks to negotiate. Here are Tattletale's 3 alternative options. Option 1, shoot them. This would end the truce. Option 2, let Tattletale do her announcement. This would end the truce. Option 3, leave Taylor alone. Bad would happen. Tattletale. Sorry, I have a. I should preface. I have a weird throat thing going on this morning, so I have to take a little breaks. But I'm gonna check chat real quick. I like how Greg said, "Dad, you never let me talk."
Yeah.
Vale says, "I think the audience participation question should have been, what do you think Armsmaster's password was?" Probably just password. Password 1.
Oh, yeah. It's a perfect password. No one would
I
guess it.
mean, because like if I was trying to hack into like anything Armsmaster had, I'd be like, no, he wouldn't do something like password. That'd be too simple. But
Yeah.
see, he's playing like 8D chess, so he's like, they're gonna think it's too simple. Like, you see what I'm
However
saying?
many D of chess you're playing, he's playing at least 2 additional D.
Exactly. He's many dimensions ahead.
And Vale puts
Um,
up a really great username that or possible password. Actually, this is his password. It's a XX Leviathan Slayer XX123 exclamation point.
that'd be a cool password. I'd make that my password if I were Armsmaster.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Um, and then, yeah, so Tattletale asked the armband to locate the time period with the largest breaking casualties. Then she directs it to replay the notifications before that point.
Manpower deceased CD6 Aegis deceased CD6 Fenya down CC6 Fenya deceased CC6 Kidwin down CC6 Skitter deceased CC6 Kaiser deceased CC6. Stop. What is the point of this? Legend folded his arms. Skitter's right here. She's not dead. My armband broke, I replied. Did it? Or did something break it? Tattletale's gaze went to Armsmaster, her voice dropping in volume to ensure that our audience didn't hear. What are you implying? Armsmaster growled. I'm implying that you set things up to guarantee yourself a one-on-one fight with Leviathan. Who cares, after all, if some villains get murdered in the process, if it means stopping an Endbringer?
Armsmaster begins the protest, but Legend prompts Tattletale to explain.
Armsmaster has a fancy computer in his suit set up to predict Leviathan's movements and actions. Clockblocker tagged the Endbringer to put him on pause long enough for Armsmaster to set up the playing field the way he wanted it. With that predictive program, Leviathan's going after the people who can make force fields, and Armsmaster uses this dangles Kaiser like bait, puts more villains, Fenya and Menya, in the way to Kaiser. Sure enough, Leviathan marks Kaiser as a target, charges through the conveniently arranged villains, and goes straight to the spot where Skitter is. and then sort of switches over to where I had been writing it. Oh, and Vale saying, it's cool how the scene plays out. Tattletale has some clues what happened, playing this out like she does. She's getting all the reads off Armsmaster as she goes. Tattletale's just freaking amazing here. Yeah.
See, she's always amazing.
Yeah, Lisa's one of my favorites. And then I said, it's clear already that Miss Militia knows Tattletale is what Tattletale is saying is the truth. Armsmaster says, "This is nonsense. Heroes died too." And then Tattletale goes on to explain that the heroes dying was an accident because he couldn't account for all the variables when there were that many capes fighting in one place. Armsmaster had intentionally hit Skitter's armband with an EMP to stop her from calling in reinforcements and messing up his 1v1. Bold plan, but he lost.
But let's be honest though, that 1v1, pretty cool.
Yeah, it was pretty lit. I think that's one of the best arts we've had in a long time. Maybe I'll just bring it up now for the crowd. Boop boop boop. Let's.
Vale says that there's a minor detail that said Tattletale had been talking with Alexandria. I must have missed that. Do you know where that's from?
Yes, that is So, true enough, Alexandria was giving me a recap on what I missed in exchange for my intel on the Endbringer. Let's see, armband. Find me the largest break-in casualties from the earlier Leviathan encounter. And then that's what leads to the, rundown of the thing that Vic had pulled. But let's see here. So, I just wanted to show off the sick ass Armsmaster.
Yeah.
So Armsmaster doesn't reply. Legend saying it's a serious accusation, and Tattletale agrees. When they say it's speculation, Tattletale offers that they check the armband as there will be signs of damage from the EMP. I'm gonna just put this back. Vale says that's likely where she started to get her clues. And then we go here. You bitch! Armsmaster snarls. I feel like you can read that like a whole bunch of ways, but they do it really well in the actual Rain audiobook since he reads these chapters.
See, this all circles back to our theme of Armsmaster being a dick.
Yeah, it's true. It's really all encapsulated here. But you bitch! This is a lie! Check the armband, and you'll see the truth. Yeah. So, we just get some back and forth, and everybody can kind of tell what's going on. When Armsmaster says that it would take days or weeks, Tattletale offers herself up into custody as collateral. Legend doesn't say anything, but Taylor notices him react. Armsmaster flips the fuck out and pushes right past Gru and Regent, reaching for Tattletale, only to be shot in the shoulder from behind by a Legend laser. Who? Why? Armsmaster flopped over, saw Legend with one open hand aimed at him. Legend? Yeah.
Yeah, Legend.
And that's this very moment that we see here, where he's he blasts the little blast.
I like how he's pointing at him. He's like, "You."
Well, he's pointing at Taylor, but
Oh, okay.
Taylor's standing to Legend's left. So this is from her perspective, not his. That's why the left hand is in the right side of the frame.
Okay, that makes sense.
So when Armsmaster says, no, not there. Miss Militia trains her gun on Armsmaster. Tattletale says to let them walk away and they'll stay quiet. Not listening to this, Miss Militia addresses Armsmaster with disappointment, but it's clear she believes Tattletale. Armsmaster justifies himself, but can't help. And I can't help but pull more quotes here. It was for the greater good, Armsmaster replied without a trace of shame or humility. If it had worked, Leviathan would be dead. The man holding Empire 88 together, dead. All of us survivors would have been legends, and this city could have risen from the ashes, become something truly great.
Yikes.
I don't know. He's Batmaning hard. Uh,
Yeah.
um, Tattletale tells him It couldn't have worked. Armsmaster tells her to shut up, but she goes on to say that it couldn't have worked because of the Endbringer's physiology. Telling her to shut up again, Armsmaster says that she doesn't know everything. Taylor knows where this is going, and all we get between his statement and this is her thinking, no, in the italicized single word sentence. Oh, it looks like we got some chats. What do we got going on, Quinn?
Let's see. So Vale said Armsmaster would have gotten away with it if it weren't for those meddlesome kids. And then 2 plus 4 times 5 says a master manipulator, penchant for head games. Arm master, describing Tattletale. Shortly before Tattletale wins with head games.
It's true. It's true. And then we are at her. He pointed a hand at me. She's not who you think she is. I spoke quickly. Gru, shut him up! Gru raised a hand, but he didn't blanket Armsmaster in darkness. She's a wannabe hero. Has been from the start, since the night Lung was first brought into custody. Gru's hand dropped to his side. So Armsmaster explains the whole thing. He met her on the first night out. Then she tells him she's going undercover the night before the bank robbery. Talked again on the balcony at the fundraiser. She told him that she just needed to get the details on the Undersider's boss. Taylor can't really pull herself together to speak in her own defense, and Armsmaster is just like losing it, making a big show of yelling and that they shouldn't be looking down on him, that they should look down on her, starting her cape career by trying to betray friends for fame and glory.
Oh, she got exposed.
Yeah. She's getting called out, and she's like,
Yeah.
when he's right, it makes maybe you gotta think about, what's led you to this point. So Gru asks if this is true, but it's not Taylor he's looking at. Tattletale reluctantly confirms, and the Undersiders react. Do you want to read this little paragraph?
Yeah. Bitch stared at me, wide-eyed, teeth bared, as if all basic human expression had left her as she regarded me. Regent looked me up and down, turned away as if in disgust, one fist clenched hard enough to make the area around the long stitched-up cut on his arm stand out in white. I couldn't see Gru's face, could barely make out his body language, but I knew that it would have stung 10 times worse than anything else if I could see his expression in that moment. Tattletale was the only one who didn't look surprised.
Oh, and Greg has excellent commentary. Mock her! Spit on her! Bully her!
Throw tomatoes!
Taylor doesn't know what to do. Without thinking, she backs away and starts leaving. Amy was there, sees all this, and she is shook. Taylor starts running, and when she gets outside, she just keeps running. And the truly troubling part about all this is that she doesn't even know where she's running to.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Any final chapter thoughts?
It was crazy. I don't know if I don't have any like specific thoughts. But I definitely didn't think that like she was gonna get exposed. Like I knew she was gonna. I had a feeling she was gonna get exposed at some point, but I didn't think it would be like in a situation like this.
Well, also, okay, so you hadn't read like last week 8.5 and 6. So do you just want to briefly recap sort of how you felt about those chapters since like again, first read, all that jazz?
Yeah. Yeah. It was really. Sorry. Yeah. They were really cool. Leviathan, like that whole arc with him has been. Yeah, it's probably my favorite. So far. I really liked Coil's power too. That was I don't know what I was expecting his power to be, but it was not fucking make reality whatever I want, you know. Um, but they were really good chapters, and I keep thinking I'm like, oh, I've got it down. I know how this book is gonna go, and then something different happens. I'm like, yep, well, that's not what I thought was gonna happen.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, you have known some major spoilers from the start, but I still feel like even knowing that, like the reason I told you that at the time was because I didn't think that some of the book long spoilers that I was like telling you really like I don't know, this stuff still comes up on you, you know?
Yeah, yeah, and like even though you've like told me some things, like sometimes I just kind of like forget about it because it was like so long ago, and then I'm like, oh yeah, I was like, I guess I do remember, that being brought up once or twice.
Right, right, yeah.
But it's like only like in the moment, like as I'm reading it, do I like remember them? So it's
That's
not
that
really.
yeah, that's part of why I don't feel like it's such a big deal, you know, when you hear like a name or whatever that you just have no connection with and you're just like, okay,
Yeah, I'm
whatever.
like,
And then,
oh,
you finally hear it back and you're like, "Oh, that's the thing."
like, oh, he just did. Ah, I get it.
Yeah. Oh,
um,
so going back to the chat, we got Vale saying, Armsmaster. Sure, I murder people for personal gain during an Endbringer fight, but she was gonna be a hero, but didn't quite do it.
despicable.
And then 2 plus 4 times 5, planning from the start to betray teammates for fame. Armsmaster. I'm just making him more and more like David Hayter from Metal Gear. Um,
Yeah.
having literally, and I mean it's not quite there, but having literally just admitted to breaking the Endbringer truce for fame. 2 plus 4 times 5. A comment on 8.7. Taylor intended to be a hero. She may have thought of herself as a hero. Was she a hero? Not by most standards. She was doing more backsliding than the Canadian national luge team. Uh, that's pretty good. But I gotta say, I do think, as far as Armsmaster's motivation, that it's not like just for fame. Like maybe that's part of it, but I think there is a large component where killing off Leviathan is an actual goal for him. He has fought in like a zillion Endbringer fights,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
because
He
Armsmaster's
has
been consistently going to the big fights for like 15 years.
he definitely has like a huge like kind of hero complex, I feel like.
Yeah, yeah. Um. Uh. But Doot doot doot. Yeah, I guess moving on to 8.8, if you want to start us off on the stuff that you had wrote.
Yeah. And then I guess I didn't write a whole lot before it kind of transitions into your section, but yeah, I think we should just kind of like do your section. I'll just kind of like add things
Mm-hmm.
in that I wrote. Okay. So for 8.8, I said this chapter starts off with kind of pondering how funeral services have just been a tricky topic. It just historically in the book or in the world, especially for a grand fight like this, where they would have to like kind of like praise someone like Kaisar and kind of all the awful shit he did with Empire 88. Um, and then they had mentioned how there was like another like form that they tried to do to honor people who died in like the great battles like this, where they would just like say their name and they would do like a salute or something. But then that wasn't working either because some people got negative reactions. So they're like, all right, let's just simplify this, make like a monument, put their names on it. That's it. Um, and then a little quote I pulled was it was just kind of like explaining the monument, but it seemed to be a black marble with stainless steel in the core of the monument, so that the etched letters stood out in a metal gleam, even reflecting the sun's light if the time and viewer's position was right. The overall shape formed an obelisk, with the corners and base unpolished and rough, only the four sides smooth and polished. It was out of the way, placed atop Captain's Hill, at the base of the mountains to the west of the city.
Yeah.
Do you know how big this monument is?
I think it's like. I mean, I always just sort of guessed it was a little taller than a person, but I'm not sure.
Okay, you're probably right. I don't
Like
know, like
7 or 8 feet, maybe. I have no idea.
okay, like when I was like imagining it, I don't know why in my head I was just imagining this like huge fucking thing, but I was like, that can't be right. Like,
Yeah, I didn't imagine it was that big, but I imagined it was taller than like any like sort of average person.
okay, okay, yeah, that makes a lot more sense than mine. So, um, but so yeah, Taylor had mentioned that she wanted to come by earlier to pay respects to the fallen, but that she had been scared off by the huge amounts of press every single time. Taylor reflects on the aftermath, sort of damage. More than half the city had no power. Over a third was without running water, constant health concerns, uneven food distribution, rampant like crime and looting. Basically a whole lot of nothing good. Um, so she kind of walks around the monument and reads a few of the names of the fallen. Um, and she kind of like reflects on how gallant his name is on there because he died. And she was like, even though like we didn't have like a whole lot of interactions, even like the one fight we did have, she's like, it's just weird that he's gone. Which I can imagine that being, like a weird feeling.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and then another name that catches her eye is Iron Falcon, which is I don't know if they confirmed it, but I mean, it's like got to be like the bird boy that she tried to save.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
because like after she like helped him out, someone came and like grabbed him, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So she was like, how did he like end up on here? But yeah, and a quote that was in there was like Taylor felt something about it. She couldn't tell if it was disappointment, sadness, and then I said, or maybe a secret third thing. But Taylor wasn't sure how to felt about anything. Period.
I
Um,
think it's like important that Taylor is like in a place where she totally can't even like self-assess her own emotions.
yeah, yeah. She's just like so like despondent and kind of just like detached from reality, I feel like.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And then there's the little carving that she finds that someone put in there, and it spread like left to right, not like up and down.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, so I have no idea. Like, I'm not even gonna lie. Like, I have no idea like what it's trying to say. But it's just
These
like
are
Kuro.
these are the eight uh, dog names: Kuro,
Oh
Bullet,
shit! Yeah,
Milk,
that's right.
Stumpy, Brutus, Judas, Axel,
I
and
remember
Ginger.
Stumpy now. Okay.
I don't
Yeah.
remember Stumpy. I'll be honest. I think this
You
is the
remember
only
Stumpy?
time we get Stumpy named. I think there's too much of a gap between these.
Yeah, I kind of.
I think it's just one of those was a tab when it was supposed to be a space, you know?
Yeah, probably.
But
Um.
whatever.
Whatever.
It's fine.
Uh. And then here's where it kind of transitions into your part, if you want to.
Yeah, yeah. Um so then some random dad shows up and says that vandalizing the monument this soon is sickening. The guy is clueless. He should be able to put two and two together. Yeah, Quinn, and see that these are
Yeah.
names of people who died in the Leviathan attack. I mean, they
What
happen
an
to be
idiot,
dogs,
dude.
but 2 + 4 × 5 says it also took me a while to realize that those were names carved by Rachel. Mm-mm. I thought Brutus and Judas made it a dead giveaway.
I wasn't thinking. When was
Anyway,
the last time we even heard about her dogs? Maybe like I feel like it's been a minute, so maybe I just like wasn't on my mind.
well, they all got. I mean, 8 of them got killed in that Leviathan
Whoa.
fight.
Well, I mean, yeah, but
And they rode them into battle in Arc 7. Um,
no,
but
I'm just an idiot.
and then 2 + 4 × 5 says it was mostly because Rachel is moderately illiterate. Yeah, one of the things about this is that the one that doesn't make a lot of sense to me for is Kuro. I wouldn't have expected her to put a W on it. Like if I were gonna do an edit pass, I'd remove that because like later on in the book she doesn't know what a W does, and also like the simpler spelling in your mind would probably be like Kooro. You know.
Yeah.
Greg says, "Gosh, who put the names of those disposable combatants on the memorial? Ugh." Um, always with the disposable combatants.
Mm.
Um, so when Taylor says their names and this took time, they mean something to someone. A voice responds, "I think you're right." And Lisa reveals herself. Revelation! That she's on the scene. And the man doesn't acknowledge that anything was said and moves on. Typical man. Um, so this is gonna be the getting the speed draw going. Um, we get a description of Lisa's outfit, or of Lisa and her outfit, which we can see here in the art, and in Worm, clothes and costumes are important. Lisa is better dressed for the cold weather in this scene, caused by the changed weather patterns after the Leviathan flooded the area. So the weather is their emotional states after the fight, and Lisa's also better equipped emotionally to deal with her current situation than Taylor is. So I'm sure there's other stuff that can be said about it, but there's clearly more than just the surface level description of like what the character looks like. You
Yeah.
see what I'm saying, Quinn?
I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. That's interesting. I didn't even pick up on that, honestly.
Yeah, that kind of thing is like super present in Ward, and because like a lot of that is it goes from like the end of summer to like dead of winter kind of thing. Then it just gets colder and colder and colder.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, Lisa asks Taylor if she's been getting by, and Taylor says that she's been staying in a shelter and still has cash. Lisa clarifies that she wants to know if Taylor is okay. Taylor can't even pull together an answer, feeling insecure and not able to be emotionally vulnerable with Lisa because she doesn't know where they stand. Instead, she brings up Lisa knowing she was kind of undercover for a while. Um, she's like, "You knew how long or whatever." Let me see what did she actually say.
Hmm.
It's no, she just goes, "So you knew." Um, And then Lisa confirms that she knew and apologizes to Taylor about it, which surprises Taylor since she was the one planning on betraying the Undersiders. Betrayal! Another theme. Uh, Then we get the full art. Um, let's talk about the art for a second.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. I like how Vic is balancing like having people in the background, but like not needing to super fill them in, and them being gray blobs fits in with the color palette and everything, and like the gloomy skies and the wrecked city and the railing and the like dry grass and stuff. I mean, it's not like dry, but I think it's like dead scrub stuff.
Yeah, yeah. Um,
Yeah.
I can see some of the dogs' names, like the ending of like, Bullet, and then that's like Sandy or whatever.
Yeah.
Um,
Bullet,
yeah, I like
Stumpy,
how,
Judas, and Ginger.
I like how she kind of put that there too.
And then if you look really
Um,
closely, I don't know if it's. I think only comes through if you have the higher res setting, but it's. You can see the names of the people who were on the monument as well. This is the one that has. You could see Charlotte Tom, for example, and then the back half of Jenny Ryan,
okay, yeah, I see that.
and then a little bit of Robin Sawyer, who was or Sawyer, who was Velocity. I thought Velocity was cool, but we just only see Velocity two times. The one time that he does the move with Trickster, and then the other time at the fundraiser when he kind of gets shreked by Taylor.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well, that's a common theme.
yeah.
That should be one of our themes, getting Shreked by Taylor.
Exactly. Vale says, I like how the closer objects are clear because Taylor has bugs on them like usual, but farther away is all blurry because out of range. 2 plus 4 times 5 said. And the other time where he gets thwacked in the balls, yeah. Um, yeah, that was
Okay.
Taylor. Um,
He didn't really catch a break, did he?
no, he can't. Let's see here. Boop, boop, boop. I was here. Um, Lisa says she didn't, or Lisa says that Taylor changed her mind and didn't betray them, but she had manipulated Taylor by keeping the secret that she knew. Taylor asks how long she knew, then realizes it must have been from the start. Lisa still manages to surprise her, since before we met.
Dun
Um,
dun dun.
um, oh, Vale says, I'm surprised Arms Master didn't mention that Taylor has a penchant to destroy grinds when he spilled all the secrets.
Some
Yeah.
secrets, even Arms Master won't go there.
Yeah, because what if he was next?
Yeah, I wouldn't risk it.
Uh, Taylor wants some deets on this, and Lisa takes them further away from prying ears to a railing over a sheer drop to the bottom of the hill. They can see the coastline of the whole city from up here. We get some examples of the lingering damage. The remains of the PHQ that was thrown onto the beach is being cleared away, and the lake made by Leviathan is still there. People aren't yet sure if it will ever drain. Um,
Yeah, I don't know why, but like I was like, oh yeah, once Leviathan's gone, like all of his water will just be gone too. It's like, I don't like that's just like what my brain was thinking,
And it's like,
and then like
no.
yeah,
He's
I just
always
read that. I was
permanently
like,
changed the weather, like when you get a really bad flood that like stays, and then, you have more
mm,
humidity in the air and it changes the pressure zones. So it's like changed all of that for the surrounding like area.
yeah, and yeah, that kind of like made me be like, oh wow, he really like obviously Leviathan like fucked shit up, but like he really fucked shit up.
Yeah, and I don't think they mention it here, but they do mention it during the fight. Like he pulled up that storm drain and like pulled all the piping through the road. He like cut Lord Street up so that you can't drive on it, and you also can't like cross it. So he kind of like severed the city in half, also in a way
Oh
for like
god,
transportation purposes. So they have to like make little, bridges and crap to even start getting to some areas of the city.
it's like
Um,
a Hamlet fishing village kind of thing.
yeah, it's like you gotta reconnect it to even get supplies in. Um, anyway, so on an early morning outing as Skidder, Taylor had scouted the area that the loft had been in, and the loft was gone. There were many areas of the city where all the buildings were damaged beyond repair, like not only around the docks but also other places. They don't get into the details here, but they'll talk in a chapter or two about how like the docks were actually more defended by capes and like force fields and crap, so they're less destroyed, and some of the nicer areas got fully like wiped off the map. Um, but yeah. Danny's house is still intact. Taylor checked on it but didn't return. There were too many things that she felt like she couldn't explain to him. Yeah.
What side of town does Danny live on?
So
Do they?
Brockton Bay map. Let's see here. Um, get it's in a large size. Okay, so does it say Taylor's house is? So Taylor lives kind of just outside of the docks in the like, I mean, north south wise it's a little north, but it's like pretty central. Um, she lives in like the shitty end of town. Trying to think where Lord Street is. I think Lord Street basically severs the like portion of town and the docks like both in half. The portion of town where Taylor's house is. So like the areas of like decent housing, because it also like leads to the lake, which is kind of, I don't know, south of where Taylor lives, I guess. It's hard to describe, and I'm only like 90% confident about any given thing I'm saying. Because, the map does exist, kind of, but it doesn't exactly show where Lord Street is and stuff. You kind of have to eyeball it and so forth. Be
Yeah, I
like,
uh, I googled a map of it. I'm like, I'm
it's
kind of
like, that
looking.
kind of looks like a major street. That could be it.
And I'm like, yeah, somewhere around here.
And, I'm taking like, I'm also trying to incorporate book knowledge of like chapters that, while I've read them like a couple months ago, it was still a couple months.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, because yeah, in the next several chapters, we'll get like a lot more details about the damage and stuff. Arc 9 has a lot of like the rampant crime and the dysfunction of the like food distribution and so forth. You know,
Yeah,
typical post disaster stuff. Um,
post Leviathan stuff.
well, I mean, this is actually what it's like in a post hurricane scenario in a lot of places. Like they just don't take care of the like citizenry super well. Like this is kind of like what it was like after Katrina.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense.
Um, yeah, Vale just said aftermath. Maybe it was correcting something we said, but oh, New Orleans, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mm.
So let's see here. Lisa leans on the railing and starts the more open conversation with, "I didn't think we'd win." Taylor comes over but stands out of reach. Um, Lisa, feeling paranoid enough to think she might get pushed over the side of the cliff, um, or stays out of reach of Lisa, feeling paranoid enough to think that Lisa might push her over the side of the cliff. Taylor thinks over the state of Brockton Bay, the amount of people who were displaced being orders of magnitude higher than the amount who died. Taylor asks if they did win. "We're alive. That's a win in my book." Um, I think that's a good point, Lisa.
Yeah, that's definitely a win in that front.
Mm-hmm. 2 plus 4 times 5 says, if you draw a line from the edge of Leviathan's Lake to the boardwalk in the docks, Taylor's house is slightly north of the third mark. Hmm.
Oh, I didn't realize there was
According
like
to the
a
map
map.
on the gallery page on the website. Unfortunately, that map does have some spoilers for a few arcs ahead. Yeah, I wouldn't look
Oh,
at the map
yep, yep.
if you, and
Closing it
like,
right now.
yeah, it's, I feel like, at least you like the whole lake thing, like that can't be spoiled because we know about the lake, and that's the only
Mm,
like super noticeable feature if you don't like read the legend of the map. But anyway,
yeah.
moving on. Taylor doesn't say anything back to this, and eventually Lisa says, "Okay, no more secrets." Taylor agrees, and Lisa tells her that she needs to use her head to figure out exactly what things to keep between them. And we get a little bit of tattletaling here. She begins to tell us a story that facilitates explaining Coil's power. He can make two parallel sets of decisions and actions, play them out seemingly as far as he wants before deciding which one to make permanent. Um, Through the way that Lisa words things, Taylor is able to pick up on the idea that this is a description of Coil's power. Right here, after she seeds in this information, is one of the only two times in the chapter that it calls her Tattletale. Taylor realizes that Coil's been helping them from the start, and Lisa fills in some of the blanks. That they had help for the bank robbery, although in the other outcome it wasn't much worse. Rachel was hurt, but seemingly when they fought the Empire 88 in the later example, they all got massacred or something to that effect.
I
Um, mhm.
Because like anything. did they explain if anything specific happens, like with the second reality that he makes, or is it just kind of like
Well, I'll explain it in the powers knowledge section what like mechanically happens with his power. Um
okay?
and then I think it'll be more clear. Um but let's see here. Cuz I do know, but I don't think it like just says in the text.
Mhm.
So, um
Okay.
let's see here. Taylor has a strong reaction to even a tangential mentioning of the Dinah kidnapping, but Lisa moves on, saying that they didn't have his help when they were ambushed by Bakuda. But for the fundraiser, he had a version of events set up where he never even sent them in, so it was a sure thing that they wouldn't have gotten caught that night, because if they had, he would have just chosen the other fork. In the Empire 88 fight, he sent them in both times, but he gave Tattletale different instructions and like a slightly different timing, and kept the version where he told her to be careful. So, sometimes you gotta be careful, sometimes you gotta go crazy.
That's a good motto. I
Yeah.
love how.
Anyway, all this is to circle back to answer the reason that Lisa was able to know about Taylor before they even met. In the alternate version of events between the Undersiders and Lung, on Taylor's first night out in costume, she found the two villain groups fighting and attacked both. The problem is obvious that Lung had gotten too strong by this point, and things got out of hand. Tattletale relayed this information to Coil, knowing he was working with his power on this, and he told Tattletale in the other timeline of events that he chose to keep that there was a junior hero on the area, and they altered their path. Tattletale had been hoping that the junior hero was going to be a new member of the wards and would call in hero teams to fight Lung for them. She attacked on her own, giving the Undersiders the much-needed advantage. Then after they met, Gru mistook Taylor for a villain, and Tattletale saw an opportunity. The idea of recruiting you came when he was finishing his introductions. And then I thought this is a big enough section. You want to read the back and forth?
Yeah, sure. Um, yeah, I'll read that real quick. So everything I've been through, all of this, it's my fault, pretty much. That's what I'm saying. I'm sorry. I mean it too. I sighed. It's okay, I told her. I think if it happened again, I'd still want to be part of the group. Want to have met you guys. I'd want some stuff to go down differently. Dinah, my dad, having things come out like they did after the battle with Leviathan. We can't take back what happened, Tattletale said, but we can try to fix it.
Yeah.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
so did like Coyle when he like told Lisa or Tattletale, yes, to like look out for a junior hero. Um, what was like? Did he like know that Taylor was going to join them, or like what was his like rationale for having her look out for?
He thought that it was like just imagine that Taylor was not going to go undercover, and that they didn't mistake her for a villain, and that they could tell that she's just a vigilante hero. uh, they were supposed to be on the lookout to not fight her and not get ambushed like they did in the like timeline that he just wiped out from existence.
Okay, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
And so she was trying to use this as like a pawn on the battlefield, to like start the fight and bring in the protectorate or whoever.
Yeah, okay, okay.
Um, but yeah, yeah. And then at this point, she gets called Tattletale again. It's heart of the matter time for her, and she navigates this pretty carefully. Lisa presents Taylor some options, but doesn't make them sound that good. I think she puts a lot of effort into subtly and unsubtly leading Taylor toward rejoining the Undersiders. Taylor explains that she's not ready to go home yet, and Lisa assures her that they'll leave Taylor and Danny alone, but Taylor says she's still hurt and mad at him. Lisa starts to press Taylor and tries to get answers from her about what she wants to do, if she's going to become a hero or strike out on her own. Lisa tells her again that they don't hate her. Taylor emphasizes she really doesn't know what she wants right now. Maybe you don't know what you want to do because what you really want to do is come back.
Mm.
Oh my god.
Oh my goodness.
Taylor says the others wouldn't accept her back. Lisa says that if Taylor makes conscious concessions and shows she's ready to go all in from here on out, then she'd be back in. Lisa tells Taylor that it's not going to be easy and she'll have to make sacrifices. Tells her that she might even change her mind about and be able to look past the thing with the girl. And Taylor says, never. Let's see here. Vale had said, oh, 2 plus 4 times 5 had said, yeah, the Leviathan Lake is kind of the biggest spoiler on that map. Vale says, Lisa's power when she first sees Taylor, uh, thinks she is a hero, but is totally a villain, wants friends, super easy to recruit, BFF, forever material, could use a hug. Yeah,
Taylor in a nutshell right there.
yeah. Let's see here. Lisa says if she's so certain that she won't change her mind, she has nothing to lose hearing them out, or even just hearing out Lisa. She offers coffee and to run interference so Rachel doesn't kill her when she rejoins the team. Taylor looks at the memorial and laments in her mind. So many dead, so pointless. What was wrong with this world that it was this fucked up? That people like Sophia and Armsmaster were heroes? That there couldn't even be a proper funeral for people who had given their lives because of a small handful of grandstanding idiots? Um, yeah. And then Lisa can tell that Taylor just made a decision on what she's going to do. And then if you want to read this, it's kind of just the rest of the chapter chunk.
Yeah. Um, she was right. As I stared at the monument, a goal was crystallizing in my mind, a focus. I knew now what I wanted to do. I had to change things. I had to be better than them, than Armsmaster, Sophia, Coil, and all the others. Yeah, I replied. She turned to glance my way. And does this plan feature the Undersiders? I gave her my answer. End chapter.
Damn!
Boom!
All right. So, what do you think?
Sweet. Yeah, that was I liked that chapter. It took me like a little bit. Like I had to like reread it like once or twice. Like, well, not like the whole thing, but like certain parts. Especially like when Lisa started going on and explaining like she was like using like that metaphor, not metaphor, whatever it's called, but like that like if you got a path A and path B, like which way do you go? Like when she started using that to like explain Coil's power, I was like, wait, I was like, huh? I had to like reread it a few times, but then I was like, ah, okay, I see now.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a cool chapter, and I always like when we get Lisa and Taylor time, and that's like this whole chapter, so I love it.
Yeah, yeah. It's like I think it's really important interaction between them, and it's like you can read this in so many ways, but I definitely just see it as like this really like mm, like Lisa's trying to play it cool, but she's super desperate.
Yeah, definitely. And then yeah, I'm excited to see kind of where Taylor's gonna go with this.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And then on the character section, Vic had pulled out for Regent joining the wards under a probationary program. Regent snorted, and then she wrote, "He just gets her, heart."
I would love if they did like a what if kind of thing of like Taylor joining the wards.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It'd be crazy.
It'd be
Um,
crazy.
So for Lisa, we get to see that what I was just talking about, how she's like working super hard trying to bring Taylor back into the fold, but just being like, hey, I don't know, it's gonna be really hard. But whatever. You could go back to your dad. You could. But
Yeah,
who's
she's
to
like,
say?
I'd be like, you might have to like change some things, but like you can come back. Like,
Yeah.
um, yeah, I like how she's being like kind of coy about it. She's like, I mean, you could do this, but you could also do this.
Hmm. Vale says, on the topic of Lisa wanting Taylor back, I honestly think she has the confirmed read that Taylor is just wholeheartedly her friend. Maybe the only time in her life that she has that. I guess I kind of disagree, but only because of like stuff like knowing the character better from Ward. I don't think that Lisa like feels secure here in like that maybe. So
Just saying.
I think that just like Lisa has um a lot of doubt throughout stuff. And her power like self-sabotages and like makes her see people more negatively if anything. And she kind of talks at one point about kind of just putting in the assumption to her power all the time that like Taylor is a good person and stuff like that, so that like that papers over any faults. Um,
Mm.
yeah, I don't know. I just think that Lisa's a very sad person, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, with her power, that it makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. Um, and Vale says that's why I think she has that read from Taylor with all the negatives. There's something fundamentally honest in that friendship. Okay, all right, yeah.
I see that. I see that. I see the vision.
And then I didn't have like a lot written down because it's like we did just talk about the Lisa stuff throughout the whole chapter. But like, do you have any more stuff you wanted to say? You had like a whole section here. Did you get to say kind of the things you wanted to say?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of was just like reiterating sort of a lot of things you said.
Mm-mm.
But yeah, for Lisa, yeah, I mean, I don't really have a whole lot to add. I do think that I do like kind of like the big relationship between her and Taylor, and I mean, I guess you know more about Lisa from Ward, but I guess I kind of agree with Vale in some ways, where I feel like she kind of definitely feels very like definitely feels like Taylor's a very good friend that she can be sort of honest with, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I
Um,
think that she has like a very human connection with her, but I think that if anything, her power is sabotaging her relationship between her and anyone.
yeah, okay, yeah, I agree with that, yeah. Um, but yeah, I guess that's all I really have to add with Lisa. I don't. We kind of already gone over everything, I think.
Hmm. Um, So, in the powers, knowledge, and world building, Brockton Bay sees a major status quo change. Things don't just go back to the way they were, and the city will remain in large part destroyed going forward. Um, and then reconstruction efforts will be like key plot points and so forth. Um, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't actually think about that. Like the rest of the book is probably gonna be like, I mean, assuming it's all going to take place in Brockton Bay still. I didn't really think about that fact that it's gonna be like destroyed for probably a really long time.
Yeah. Yep. 2 plus 4 times 5 says Lisa was manipulating Taylor in a good way by convincing the poor bullied victim to act more and be more villainous.
Yeah.
Good, good.
Good.
Anything
Is
that's
that
more
good?
Sheev like, you know.
Yeah.
Um,
Good.
and then I took a quote here. I didn't put this in the summary because it didn't really fit into the events. It kind of just would be jarring to have put there, but the quiet was disturbed by the noise of not too distant helicopters moving over the city. Some capes flying alongside them as guards. It would be another drop of much needed supplies. Yeah,
Mm.
I thought that was like good texture.
Yeah, yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I didn't really think about the fact that that's what you said. They're just like airdropping like supplies over them.
Yeah, remember how all the streets are torn up and stuff from all the. There was like four tsunami hits, I think. The fourth one was mostly stopped by Eidolon, but I think the other three hit pretty like directly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. So
Yeah.
it's just kind of like they're just dropping it. It's like, all right, who gets it, gets it.
Well, no, they're taking it to a specific drop point, but they're guarding it with heroes because like people the like remnants of the Empire 88 are like actively trying to steal like shipments of supplies and stuff.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought they were just dropping them. They're like, have fun. I was like, well,
No,
no
no, no,
wonder
no.
everyone's fighting over
They're
them.
not just dropping them like that. They're airdropping them like taking them to a landing pad, detaching the cargo and then flying again.
Okay, okay.
But Vale had said um it could be more Lisa trying to get a read on Taylor. Likes Brian. Thinks Brian is hot. Likes Brian's muscles. Muscles are hot. Super hot. Brian is hot. Likes Brian. You really write in the voice of Lisa's power pretty well.
It really does.
I can see the sabotage. Yeah. Um. Yeah, and then
Likes Brian.
popping down to Coil. On a mechanical level, Coil's power is like he's a precog and he sees these two options of him like going forward. And then when he chooses one and he like goes with it, his body perfectly acts out all the stuff. But like it is still a stupidly powerful precog power, but it doesn't like create a second world of matter. See what I'm
Okay.
saying? He just sees the future in two really specific forks, and then after he's done that, like his body acts out one of them, but he is bound to do one of them.
And he
Um,
can,
hmm?
like, as far as we know, like, kind of infinitely see in that universe, kind of like what
Yeah, it
happens
doesn't
throughout the
seem to have
city.
a time limit on a low end or high end. It seems like he can moment to moment, like split, choose, or like split it and leave it for like days theoretically. Like they never talk about any upper limit on it, time
Damn,
wise.
you do a lot with
So
that power.
you can definitely do a lot with that power. You should do an audience participation for next week when the question is going to be what shenanigans would you get up to with Coil's power?
Ugh, way too many.
Yeah, yeah. 2 plus 4 times 5 says Coil's power is basically that he's doing two simultaneously playthroughs of life, but whenever he wants to make a branching decision, he has to overwrite one of his two save files. Yeah.
He can quick save.
Mm-hmm. Yep. He can't go back to the quick save. He just like splits it and gets the two decisions. You see what
Gets
I'm
the
saying?
yeah. He gets the
So
better option.
he gets the better option, but he can't actually rewrite things wholly. And um if he foolishly like were to branch the path in a point when he's already in danger, then you know it's like he can already be in jeopardy or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, Greg says, "What shenanigans wouldn't I get up to with Coil's power? Might be easier to answer. 2 plus 4 times 5. I'd get rich with the stock market. Wait, Coil definitely did that already." Vale says, "If I had Coil's power when I was young, I'd have been able to get dates with zero embarrassment, or to not get dates with zero embarrassment." Yeah, I think you'd still feel it in your heart.
In your heart of hearts. But
Yeah.
as long as she doesn't know it happened,
Well, yeah. Your brain heart can justify it away, but your heart is gonna.
it's like, wow, I really fucked that up in another
Yeah.
timeline.
Um. So yeah, I think that's it for that. I have created the bonus zone. So this is like the audience participation, but it's different because I came up with it at the last minute. So now it's for the people who are here and Quinn. So
I'm
I came up with 9 names that I could find that were before Escutcheon alphabetically, who are the capes who died in the fight. So Acoustic, Aegis, Alabaster, Apotheosis, Brigandine, Browbeat, Jubster, Cloister, and Dauntless. And then 3 mystery slots that could be anywhere before Escutcheon, but also as early as before acoustic. Aardvark Man could be there, for instance. But I have named my own three that are the missing three: Alpaca Master, Dredge, and Elderly Gentleman. Oh yes, yes. Let me write those names in chat. So the 9 names are these names, and then oh god, it didn't format them. Let's
Oh God.
remove, and then let's do just slowly formatting this, hoping it comes through right. Didn't think about this. Those are the 9 names, and the importantly cutoff point is Escuchion.
Gucci on.
Vale says ampersand, comma, and colon were the 3 who are not named due to glitch. They were mistaken for pronunciation.
I also made up my 3, and I did Army Man, Blow, and Delilah.
Oh yeah, Delilah, famous cape.
Delilah. Yeah.
When you're powerful enough, you can call yourself anything.
Like Delilah.
Like Delilah. And then, if anyone else wants to come up with some fun 3 cape names to fill those 3 slots, you can put them into the chat, or in the future in comments on the stream. I think this is a fun one. It's a pretty easy little game, but
Greg
anyway,
says,
so
who would name themselves Colon? What a shitty name.
yeah. I put the section Quinn's question. What will Taylor do next?
Oh, so I think she's in one aspect or another gonna go back in quotation marks to the Undersiders. I think she's gonna like work with those people still. Maybe not bitch, because she did not seem happy. But Lisa and Brian for sure. I feel like she's gonna work with them still. But I don't think they're gonna do like the same things they were doing, just because everything's different now, and everyone like knows about Taylor and like what she was originally planning to do. So it's gonna be difficult for her, but I think she's kind of gonna she's still gonna work with the Undersiders, I think, but kind of do like different aspects. What that is exactly, I'm not sure.
Yeah. Um, I'm trying to think of
I
other
do.
things I can ask you about the near future. Who do you think will be major players in the city now that Kaiser's dead?
I think Coil is gonna come up a lot now. Um, Especially now that we've seen his like power. I feel like he's gonna be like, like the secret main character is like, oh, I'm pulling all the strings, and because of me, this happened.
He's gonna be the
Um,
Waluigi.
but yeah, exactly, yeah, he's the man with the mask.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I feel like Coil's gonna become pretty big. Who? I guess Benya and Menya both died, didn't they?
Only one of them died.
Okay. I
Menya's
think one of
alive.
Okay. She might be important, I think. She might kind of have some stuff to do, maybe. I don't know. Um, I definitely feel like Coil, though. He's definitely going to be big, I think.
Yeah, for sure. Vale says PRT marketing had a bad day that day about the colon, and then Kidwin will finally take charge. Uh, yeah, this is Kidwin's time to shine. Um, and then let me think. There was one more thing I wanted to ask. It was what do you think will happen to Arms Master?
I think he's gonna become sort of like a punished hero, almost in a way.
He
I
will
feel like
become
people are
punished snake.
like pretty much like people are still gonna like respect him and kinda, and people are still gonna like be like, okay, he's arms master, like this is a great guy or whatever. But now that this has happened, I feel like people are gonna have kind of a different outlook on him, and I feel like he's gonna change a little bit too. I think he's gonna be kind of more of a standoffish, more dickish, just in general.
Okay, he'll be
Um,
more standoffish and dickish. That's where you think his character's going.
yeah, like kinda. Um, like I think he's gonna kind of just be more of an asshole, and maybe he's gonna start doing some more like extreme things because I feel like he's gonna like lose a lot of popularity. Because I mean,
Mm.
Legend like already shot him because he was like, "Dude, you're fucking acting out right now."
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, so yeah, I think he's gonna do
Oh,
some
and
bad.
Amy. What did you think of Amy seeing Taylor and being all like surprised Pikachu face that she was secretly good?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Because she had not believed Taylor when she said that she thought she was doing the right thing. She'd been like, "You must be deluded."
You know, she's like, "You don't know what you're talking about."
Yeah.
um, yeah, yeah, that was cool. I always forget about Amy, honestly. And then every time she
Wow,
like,
better not say that in front of Vic. Jeez.
does she like Amy?
She loves Amy.
Oh, yeah. Well, now I'm gonna say it in front of her.
Her top ship is Taylor Amy.
Taylor Amy?
Taylor Amy.
Huh. That's
Or
interesting.
herself and Alec.
Oh, well, yeah. Herself.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, no, yeah, yeah. When Amy interacted with her, she was like, "Wow." She's like, you actually think you're good?" Um,
Yeah.
I forget where I was going with this, but yeah, it was cool.
Yeah. 2 plus 4 times 5 gives us 3 names of the fallen: A Game, Broseph, and Drama King. But with the classic backwards D. Um, Arms Master has to take a job as the cashier in the PRT gift shop for 8-hour shifts. If he can go a full week without a single negative interaction, he is back to hero status. The Undersiders know this because of Tattletale and come in as civilians to make him blow up in anger every few days.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's how they keep him down.
yeah. He's the spurned lover character from B movie. Um, oh my God, they're living my life. Yeah,
Poor Arms Master, dude. How far he's fallen.
yeah. Um, so I'm gonna move over to the audience participation question. If you want to think of your answer, I'm gonna read the ones that we've got on Discord already. And we can also like riff off of those answers, obviously. Um, so I'm gonna read whatever this was from Vale last week. It says actual spoilers. Avoid this if 8.7 hasn't been read, and of course that's one of the 2 chapters this week. So what Vale says in the spoiler tag is, it is, of course, a 3-beat of betrayals. First is the one where we find out one of the most long-term fake heroes is Sophia, fake in air quotes. Um, Second is the that Colin murdered villains in an attempt to get his sweet one-on-one time with Leviathan, and considers this to be almost a heroic act in itself. And this act brands him when it's revealed by Tattletale. Then the third is Colin revealing that Taylor betrayed everyone she was affiliated with, both in word and in action, by premeditating her planned betrayal and considering that to be a heroic act. Sophia completely disgusts me, in parentheses, us, as a reader, but then Colin is even worse, and we realize through the eyes of all around her that Taylor's betrayal is pretty horrible as well, even though it never occurred. I'm not sure it's exactly correct, but in a way, each betrayal aligns with a character flaw. rage for Sophia, hubris for Colin, vainglory for Taylor. So, yeah, it's a pretty interesting thing. And that was for last week's question, I think, of let's talk about the reveal at the end of 8.6. And it's talking about that it's the middle beat of a three beat between, or no, sorry, the first beat of a three beat with the Sophia, then Colin, then Taylor reveals. Um, yeah, pretty interesting stuff. And then as for this week, what do you think of the Endbringer Memorial? So there is this piece of art, which I'm going to try to full
Oh, that's cool.
screen. Let's see here. Boop. And we can try and scroll around it a little bit. It's very neat image of the city. Oh crap! I forgot to grab the artist. Well, it's certainly not us who made this. This is uh let's see. Does it say?
Yeah.
Vale, you had posted this. Do you know who the artist is? I forgot to look it up. That's my bad.
See if I can do
Uh,
like a reverse image search.
yeah. Can you do that real quick? Whoops, that was not great. um, let's see here. And then what was I gonna do? I was reading the audience participation thing. So Vale had said this art says so much for as a um answer to what do you think of the Endbringer Memorial, and then Vale had also said the Endbringer Memorial is directly in story a great world building touch. The thing I love most about it is the character building piece for Rachel, how she went out late at night and added the missing heroes, her dogs. It's perfect punctuation to the fact of the memorial and the person who Rachel is, and reminds us of the depth of her grief going forward. Yeah.
Nice, nice. Yeah. Yeah, the memorial, it was yeah, I agree with that. Sorry, I'm trying to
Find the thing.
I keep getting like different names for the reverse image search, so I'm
Okay, let's
not
see here. I'm hopping back into the chat. Um, Greg says Arm Master can never defeat Schmarm Master, aka or Smarm Master, aka Tattletale. Vale says Rachel carving the names. I don't know the artist. I got it from Reddit a long time ago. Sorry, I didn't think of it. Um, yeah. Well, at least we can acknowledge that it shan't. It twas not us who made this very beautiful art. Oh, I noticed the strange noise, and it's the dog asleep having a strange dream. So I may rouse the dog briefly. Um, do you,
briefly.
do you want to say something while I'm over here?
Yeah. The art is Rachel carving her dog's names. Yeah, yeah. I liked that little touch, seeing her there. Um, let me pull it back up. I want to look at it a little bit more. Yeah, this is a cool piece. And I like how they, like in the art they kind of have like a little few doggies like around her also.
Yeah. Um,
Um,
let's see here. Okay, so I think that's that. And we're basically at the end. The next week's question for Chapter 8.x, what shenanigans would you get up to with Coil's power? And so, obviously there's a lot to be said there. So we'll probably want to put our answers in the Discord rather than this chat where they, won't be available for next week's reading. So, Quinn, do you have any last words before I start reading the links and so forth?
any last words?
Yeah.
No, not super.
Your final pronouncement.
Just that, really good chapters. Really excited to kind of see, sort of how the story's gonna go, because I feel like everything's gonna be different now. Um, so yeah, I'm really excited to see what happens next, and hopefully something bad happens to Armsmaster.
Yeah, exactly. Well, sounds good. I'm gonna start up the music and start reading them links. So, the music at the start and end of the program for Arc 8 has been A Strong Force, The Ulgonsah Witches by CO.AG Music. They have their music on YouTube. You can find them and get free music. Almost all of it is copyright free. Our Discord server link can be found in the description of the stream as well as the channel description. The author of the work being discussed can be supported on Patreon at patreon.com/wildbow. The full text of the work is available for free online at parahumans.wordpress.com. And there's also a fan-made audiobook in of the entire work at audioworm.rain-online.org. And oh yeah, so we got some goodbyes in the chat. Goodbye, Vil. Goodbye, 2 + 4 × 5. I'm gonna end the stream.